A very good evening. It's the 4th of March 2023. Welcome to the primetime news here on TV1 for the Newsfirst team where the people come first. I'm Senita Senanayaka. Before we take a look at the stories that we've got for you this evening, let's take a look at the headlines.
Group including Finance Ministry Secretary summoned to National Election Commission. Election must be held before 20th March, MP Sumandiran asserts. Lawyers demand elections must be held soon. Will honour the Supreme Court's interim order, says State Minister of Finance Ranjit Siyamalapitiya. SLPP Executive Committee removes Professor GL Piris from post of party chairman. We will not betray the fight, even if we lose our parliamentary seats, says Dulles. If the President wants a general election, let's hold a general election, says MP Rauf Hakim. Decision to increase electricity tariffs should be annulled. Matter will be taken before the law, PUCSL chairman writes to 3 fellow PUCSL members.
On to your top story. The National Election Commission reached a decision last week to summon officers including the Finance Ministry Secretary, IGP and the government printer to the National Election Commission again. The National Election Commission says that they hope to discuss on Tuesday, the 7th of March, on the local government election 2023. Yesterday, the National Election Commission announced that the new date for the 2023 local government election will be announced before the 9th of March. Sri Lanka Supreme Court on Friday issued an interim order on the country's Finance Secretary and the Attorney General who represent the Finance Minister, preventing them from withholding any funds allocated by the 2023 budget for the local government poll 2023. The interim order was issued after permission was granted to examine an application that was filed by General Secretary of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, Ranjit Bandara.
State Minister of Finance Ranjit Siyamalapitiya says the Ministry of Finance will honour the Supreme Court's interim order regarding providing funds for the local government election and act accordingly.
We need to respect the decision of the court, whether it is the Finance Ministry, the government or an institution or an individual. We must respect the court order. It is everyone's responsibility to act in accordance with the court's decision. So as the Ministry of Finance, we will do so. There is no doubt about that. Everyone is bound to act in compliance with the court's decision.
General Secretary of the UNP, Palitharange Bandara, says that even if the State Minister of Finance makes such a statement, the lack of funds in the Treasury remains a problem.
There is no ill motive behind the Supreme Court's decision. We agree with the Supreme Court. We respect the court's order. But the problem the country is facing is more complex. Our country is bankrupt. The economy has collapsed. The Treasury has no money. If we did have the necessary funds, we could allocate them. Now the question is whether the Treasury gets the money. Even if the Finance Minister has submitted proposals in the budget. If the Treasury has no money, where else can we get the funds from? This is a practical question. The government has no need to sabotage or postpone any election. Leader of the Tamil National Alliance, President's Council, Parliamentarian M.A. Sumandiran says the local government election must be held before the 20th of March.
Elections are mandated by the law to be held before the 19th of March this year. Therefore, now that the Supreme Court has made the necessary orders, the Election Commission must, without any further delay, fix the date on or before the 19th of March for the conduct of the local government elections. There is no necessity to have discussions with the Secretary to the Treasury or anyone else with regard to this matter. We see this as a ploy by the members of the Election Commission to further delay the holding of the local government elections. Therefore, we demand that the Election Commission meet immediately. They don't have to wait till Monday or Tuesday. They can meet any day during the election period. Every day is a working day for them, and quickly fix the date for a day that is not later than 20th of March 2020.
Chief Opposition Whip Lakshman Kiriyalla stresses that the election should be held immediately.
We demand the Election Commission to announce the date for the election without any delay. The Secretary to the Finance Ministry cannot say that he cannot provide the funds. He must provide the funds. So instead of holding more discussions, the Election Commission must unanimously decide to hold the election soon. We hear rumours saying that the election cannot be held during the Sinhala and Tamil New Year or even during Vesak. But we know in the past the parliamentary election was held during the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. The Election Commission is giving time for the government to play another game. Do not do so. Instead, I request the Election Commission to abide by the orders of the Supreme Court and use this opportunity to set an early date for the elections. We can show that the government has money. The tax revenue this year is greater than the tax revenue of last year.
අපි දන්නවා මේ පළාත් පාලන මැතිවරණය බකල් කරේ පළවෙනි.
We know that the cabinet and the finance minister sabotaged the local government election. Now the Supreme Court has intervened and removed that barrier. 5 other government officials were involved in the conspiracy to postpone the election. Now the Supreme Court order has affected those officials as well. Sirivardhana has been ordered to use funds from the finance ministry and provide it to Gangani Liyanage. We saw the IGP performing another drama over the past few days. But with this order, he too will be bound. The Attorney General was also playing a game. Now he is also bound by this order. So there is no room for Ranil Wickremesinghe's tricks. If the election procedures have been hampered for 17 days, then we can use those 17 days going forward. We can hold the election during the course of this month. If they need more time, we can have it during the first week of April. This is the moral duty of this commission. If we think of it from the people's side, we should finish this election immediately in the shortest possible time. If this order is not heeded, compensation will have to be paid for contempt of court committed by these officials and their representatives.
ඉස්සරහට ගන්නකොට ඇත්ත වශයෙන්ම මේ මාසයේ ඇතුළෙම දිනයක් එනවා මැතිවරණ.
Former President Maithripala Sirisena also expressed the Sri Lanka Freedom Party's stance regarding the election.
The Sri Lanka Freedom Party is of the position that an election should be held. Instead of creating conflicts, the government and the Election Commission should come together and discuss and get a solution. We are also waiting to see what happens. We are not working towards postponing the election. Whether or not the election will be held depends on the availability of funds. We are facing an economic crisis. If the Treasury says they don't have money, we cannot pressurize them. We cannot request the government to halt all the essential activities and hold the election. We didn't even start campaigning, but we know who the intellectual people of this country will vote for. Are you willing to go behind bars for 3 years for violating the constitution? Do not fall for Ranil's tricks. Protect the democratic rights of the people of this country and allow them to vent their grievances peacefully. Sirivardhana, act in accordance with the Supreme Court's decision. We have been with Ranil for 23 years. When you work according to his instructions and if you fall in trouble, he will not come to save you. So you decide if you want to go behind bars or if you are willing to work according to the law.
They used different tricks from the beginning. The IGP says 40 police officers cannot be provided. Who is the invisible hand behind the Attorney General, Government Printer and State Administration Secretariat? It was made clear when the leader of the country visited the parliament and spoke. Now he is saying the local government election is not useful and that a general election is needed to change the government. If so, hold a general election. What we need is an election. It would be better if it is a general election. In order to find a solution to the economic problems of this country, we must renew the people's mandate. Let them exercise their franchise. There is no use in pointing the finger at someone when he is leading the country.
Meanwhile, a protest was staged in Delhi at the Kandia today under the theme of Don't Destroy Democracy, Let's Protect Sovereignty. The protest was organized by the Samagi Jana Balawegaya.
In more local news, the Executive Council of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna has decided to remove Professor G.L. Piris from the post of SLPP chairman. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna General Secretary Attorney Sagara Karyawasam says the decision was reached when the party's Executive Council met last week. General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Sagara Karyavasam says that 2 names are currently being considered for the post. He also says that proposals were made to appoint a senior politician and a recognized person in society to the post. He adds that several rounds of discussions were held over the matter in the past few days and the new SLPP chairman will be announced soon. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna General Secretary says, in addition, the party also recently took steps to remove members of the SLPP who submitted nominations representing other parties at the local government election.
Dala Salha Perumu commented on the decision to remove GL Piris from the post of chairman of the SLPP. He was speaking at a meeting organized by the Freedom People's Alliance in Matara today.
Not just the chairmanship, they will remove GL Piris from his parliamentary seat as well. They will do the same for Dala Salha Peruma. They strike down anyone who opposes their dictatorial ways. But we consider this a blessing. We are not afraid. They have sent out several letters stating that some of us have been removed from our parliamentary seats. These rulers are miserable. Hitler came into power with the votes of the Nazis. Today, the Sri Lankan Hitler came to power with the SLPP votes. We will not turn our backs on the decisions we have taken in order to save our parliamentary seats. The IMF Mission in Sri Lanka says that the decision taken by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka to raise the policy rate is appropriate and is in line with its objectives set under the inflation targeting framework. The Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka decided to raise policy interest rates by 1% from yesterday. The standing deposit facility rate was increased to 15.5%, while the standing lending facility rate was increased to 16.5%. Peter Brewer, Senior Mission Chief for Sri Lanka, and Masahiro Nozaki, Mission Chief for Sri Lanka, noted that the central bank's decision to raise the policy interest rate reflects the CBSL's commitment to the inflation target, and it is an important part of the disinflation strategy in the Extended Fund Facility program. According to the statement issued by the IMF Mission in Sri Lanka's inflation is declining but remains at a very high level, which has been disproportionately hurting the poor. The statement added, quote, upside inflation risks could reverse the trend and lead to persistently high inflation, which is extremely costly to the economy. Therefore, according to the IMF, the central bank's decision to raise the policy rate shows its commitment to reduce inflation more quickly and firmly towards the single-digit target. The statement further added, durable disinflation would help boost market confidence, reduce excessive risk premia, and ease the financing conditions for the corporates, especially the small and medium enterprises, which supports recovery. Speaking during the monetary policy review yesterday, Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe said Sri Lanka is ready to adopt the IMF program within March this year. The following is a report about the people of Kolaiya in Ridhimalayada, who have spent 82 years crossing a temporary bridge during the rainy season.
Kolaiya is a village in the Ridhimalayada Divisional Secretariat. The Aldenia, Alutvadiava and Kudalunuka villages are in the Alukatiava area. Children of this village go to school by crossing the Kuda Oya. During heavy rains, the children cannot cross the Kuda Oya due to the absence of a bridge. This means that the children of the Ikiriyagoda Primary School are forced to take a route which is 8 kilometers longer to go to school when the water levels rise.
ඔය වතුරාව යන්න වෙන්නේ අපිට ඉස්කෝලේට ඒ ගැන ගොඩක් කනගාටුයි වතුර වෙනකොට මේ පාලමේ විදිහින් මේ වැල එල්ලගෙන තමයි අපි ඔය මේකට ගොඩ වෙන්නේ තව චුට්ටක් වෙලා මේ විදිහින් මැස්සොත් දෙගොඩ තලාලා යන්න වතුර එනවා එතකොට කිසි කෙනෙකුට ආය යන්න බෑ යන්න කිසිම පහසුකමක් නැහැ.
The main livelihood of these people is farming. The paddy lands are also on the other side of the Oya.
සමහර වෙලාවට හේන් වලට ගියාම ඉතින් එන්න බැරි වෙන අවස්ථාවල් තියෙනවා ඔයෙන්. ඒ වෙනකොට ඉතින් අපේ ළමයි ඉස්කෝල වලට ගිහින් ඇවිල්ලා බඩගින්නේ හාමතේ ගෙවල් වලට විලා ඉන්නේ. ඉතින් ළමුත් බඩගින්නේ දෙමව්පියොත් බඩගින්නේ.
The town closest to the 250 families of the Kolaiya village is Thisapura. It is also the shortest route to the village. For the last 82 years, these villagers have asked for just one thing, a bridge.
බුදු බවත්තේ මේ අපේ ඔයට මේ පාලමක් දාලා දෙන්න කියලා තමයි ඉල්ලන්නේ.
These villagers are longing for the day they will receive a permanent bridge, not the temporary bridge they have right now.
We'll go in for a short commercial break. Stay with News First.
Our Retro Magazine's launch of the Lucky Sena Nayaka edition and Art Experiential Festival takes place on the 4th and 5th of March at Chatwing Lighthouse Gaol. Call 077-570-1891 for details. Tickets on curated art talks and tours celebrating the works of one of Sri Lanka's iconic artists at the festival.
Welcome back to the news. President Ranil Wickremesinghe directed the Petroleum Minister and officials to swiftly carry out a plan to revive the Trincomalee oil tank farm and incorporate it into the country's economy. The President issued these directives during an inspection tour of the Lanka Indian Oil Company oil tank farm in Trincomalee on Friday afternoon. The head of state expressed the urgency of implementing the Trincomalee development program by renovating the 61 tanks of the upper tank farm, which have not been used for several decades. President Wickremesinghe was greeted by the Managing Director of LIOC, Manoj Gupta, at the LIOC's lower tank farm area. The President visited the lubricating oil blending plant belonging to the Indian Oil Company. The President's media division said during the visit, the President also inspected Sri Lanka's first locally developed grease manufacturing plant, which was built and launched by LIOC. With a capacity of 3,000 metric tons per annum, this plant has the potential to meet the entire island's demand for grease, thereby saving valuable foreign exchange that is currently being spent on grease imports. President Wickremesinghe expressed his appreciation to LIOC for its dedication to ensuring a continuous fuel supply to the country during the crisis. It was the British that built 102 oil storage tanks near the Trincomalee port, one of the deepest natural harbours in the world during the Second World War. They built this large storage facility in Trincomalee following an extensive study into Sri Lanka's geopolitical location. 99 tanks of this valuable tank complex are in usable condition. The Indian Oil Company is using just 15 oil tanks. As a result, most of the other oil tanks are deteriorating. The first legal agreement signed with India regarding the oil tank complex was the Indo-Sri Lanka Accord, signed in 1987. Operations at these oil tanks fell under the Indian Oil Company through the agreement signed in 2003. A meeting between former President Maithripala Sirisena and Chinese Ambassador to Sri Lanka Kee Zeng Hong took place today. The meeting was held at the former President's residence in Polonnaruwa. A group including the Chinese Ambassador held discussions while on a private visit. Up next is Action TV.
Police who sealed the office of the chairman of the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka on the 16th of February reopened the office on Wednesday the 1st in the presence of the chairman. The office was sealed and then reopened based on a court order issued by the Colombo Fort Magistrate, according to facts presented by the officer in charge of the Kolaiya police. The police OIC presented facts to court and revealed that there is a possibility that a disruptive group may enter the office and tamper with or destroy important government files and documents. However, after the office was sealed, the police recorded statements from the Secretary to the PUCSL and the Acting Director General based on a call made by Lalit Ellavala to the police emergency hotline, stating that the two of them were preparing to provoke the public by using the relevant documents. Based on a court order issued under the Penal Code, police seized several files and documents of the PUCSL chairman. Under this situation, copies of all official documents and files of independent commissions may have to be kept at the relevant police stations in the future. If that is the case, documents and files of the Election Commission may have to be stored at the Walikada police station, while documents of the National Police Commission may have to be stored at the BMICH police station. A more simple and easy process can also be considered if required. That is to summon a police officer to meetings of independent commissions and providing him with facilities to record decisions reached during the meeting in a report. On the same day that the office of the PUCSL chairman was sealed, the government reached a decision that the people will remember. A decision to halt power cuts was announced. The previous day, the government reached a decision that stunned the people, and that was to increase electricity tariffs by 66%. The PUCSL chairman, who was not in the country when the decision was reached, sent this letter to the three other members of the commission on Thursday the 2nd. The three of them approved the 66% increase in the electricity tariff. In his letter, the PUCSL chairman states that the decision reached by the 3 members is null and void, and he will seek advice on appropriate legal action in this regard. Tomorrow, we will reveal further information regarding this letter, which contains details on measures taken by the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka in line with the law, after the Ceylon Electricity Board forwarded a request to revise electricity tariffs on the 5th of January.
A large number of cattle died from various diseases in the northern and eastern provinces in the recent past. Now, a new skin disease called lumpy skin disease is being reported in the Kilinochchi district.
The lump skin disease is spreading among cattle in many areas, including Poonagari and Vattakachi in Kilinochchi district. Treasurer of the Government Veterinary Office Association, S. Sugiridhan, says that necessary measures have been taken to control the disease.
This is not a new disease. This disease spread in late 2020 and early 2021. We brought it under control at that time. Fever and swelling of the legs are recognized as the primary symptoms visible in cattle. This is a virus. We work hard to control the spread of the disease. International Women's Day 2023 falls on the 8th of March. And tonight, we take a look at a famous female painter.
Charmaine Walker, who chose business management for higher education, chose to pursue a very different career path at the age of 25. Her paintings have now travelled across 25 countries. The artist, who balances what she studied along with her art, uses social media as her platform.
There are many obstacles for a lotus flower which grows in the mud to rise above it. Our lives are the same. When I started, I took a very small step. My first painting was also published through MTV Sports. I am the child of a single parent and I only had my mum. She helped me make a life for myself from overseas. As women, we have a superpower within our mind and body, and this superpower helps us rise up like a lotus flower.
The Ride for Ceylon charity ride marked its conclusion in Jaffna after 4 days covering over 400 kilometers. The 7th annual tour of Jaffna, also dubbed Ride for Ceylon, was flagged off from Bulletin on Saturday morning and reached Jaffna to mark its conclusion. Riders, based on their experience and riding speeds, were divided into 3 groups. Each group had a peloton ride captain. The ride was also supported by Sri Lanka's tourism sector, including House of Travels and Tourism as Destination Management, to promote Sri Lanka and attract tourists to the island nation.
It has been a very successful ride. The ride was to collect funds to buy a much needed digital X-ray machine for the hospital. Our target was 30 million rupees and we've exceeded the target. So thanks to all the donors, riders, well-wishers and all who helped us, not forgetting the committee that worked with me to make this ride a success.
We are down here from Canada and very happy to be part of this ride and part of this fundraising for the Manipai Green Memorial Hospital. We just pray that this hospital will become a blessing to the community and to the people around.
We thank you for all those who have come back to help this hospital to come back to its former glory. We pray that you would bless this institution so that it will be a blessing to this community.
Ride for Ceylon is aimed to redevelop and expand the historic Green Memorial Hospital, Manipai, in the war-gutted Jaffna. Local and international riders made their way to Jaffna, covering 475 kilometers across 4 days. The beach at Golface Green has become a place where turtles come to lay eggs.
Soil erosion at the Golface Green has completely destroyed the shoreline. According to observations made by the Department of Wildlife Conservation, over 200 turtles have laid eggs at the Golface beach since January. Environmentalists say that the turtles have adapted to a bright environment by visiting the Golface coast where there is electric lighting. They say the turtles usually prefer dark beaches when laying eggs. There are 8 turtle species in the world, of which 5 live in the seas of Sri Lanka.
It's been 1 year since the Gum at the movement provided a solution to the drinking water problem faced by people of the Nelum village in Mahavilachya, Anuradhapura. A group from Gum at the, together with the donors, visited the area for an inspection tour today.
People of the Nelum village in Mahavilachya, Anuradhapura were suffering due to the lack of clean drinking water for years. Gammatha set up a water purification system in the village on the 4th of February 2022. The project provides over 4,000 litres of water daily, quenching the thirst of over 650 villagers today. The Nelum Villa water purification system was sponsored. A group, including the trustee of the Tennyson and Vinitha Rodrick Road Trust, Ravi Abesuriya, also joined the inspection tour. Nutritional packs were distributed to expectant mothers of the village, while clothing items and gifts were provided to the elders and children. A water purification system is to be vested with the villagers of the Yayapaha village in Karulagaswaba of the Galgamu Divisional Secretariat in Kurunegala tomorrow by Gammatha. The project was carried out with the financial support of Pushpa and Gamini Fonseca, residing in Colombo 5, the family, parents and family of the late Tanuja Gunasekara from Navala, as well as Sankalya Thiyambaravatta, Saranga Kaluarachi and PKAD Senarath and his wife.
The furious back-and-forth battle surrounding Pakistan's political and economic future appear to take another democratic step forward. The country's president, Dr. Arif Alvi, on Friday named April 30th as the fresh date for elections in the largest province, Punjab, where more than half the population live. The news comes 2 days after the Supreme Court ordered elections to be held in 2 of the 4 provinces within 90 days.
Pakistan's Supreme Court on Wednesday ordered that elections must be held despite the government stating that it lacks funds for the polls, with the date for Punjab to be set by the president and that of the province of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa to be set by the provincial governor. The Election Commission of Pakistan then reported to the president that it was ready to hold the Punjab election between April 30th to May 7th. The governor of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa has not yet set a date for elections in that province. Punjab is Pakistan's largest province with 110 million of the country's 214 million population. Ruling party politicians condemn the president's unprecedented action.
Finally, in your sports news, day 1 of the 93rd Battle of the Maroons between Ananda College and Nalanda College got underway at the SSC grounds in Colombo today.
Ananda College is led by Netma Samara Vikrama, while Nalanda College is captained by Chanulatha Korala. Ananda College won the toss and opted to field first. Kushmitha Silva of Nalanda College scored 57 runs. Eranglu Jayakodi scored 87 runs, hitting 8 boundaries and 3 sixers. Chanulatha Korala and Senesh Vijay Singh scored 44 and 40 runs respectively. Nalanda College declared their first innings on 280 for 5. At stumps, Ananda College was 65 for 1 in their first innings. St. Patrick's College beat Wattukote Jaffna College by 5 runs to win the 30th Rajan Khadragama Challenge Trophy ODI encounter. St. Patrick's College won the toss and chose to bat. They were bowled out for 225 in 47.5 overs. Chasing 226 to win, Wattukote Jaffna College narrowly fell short after being bowled out for 220 in 49.5 overs.
Sri Lankan squash player Nevindu Lakman secured 4th place in the Under-19 Indian Junior Open Squash Tournament, which was held recently in New Delhi. This achievement will elevate Nevindu to be among the top 5 ranked squash players in Asia. We spoke to young Nevindu, who shared his experience with us.
18-year-old Nevindu Lakmal is an up-and-coming prospect in the sport of squash in Sri Lanka. Nevindu has been playing the game since childhood. He participated in his first squash match when he was 6 years old. He spoke to Newsfirst about the Under-19 Indian Junior Open Squash Tournament.
ඉතින් ඔය තරඟාවලියේ තුන්වෙනි හතරවෙනි ස්ථානයත් සමග මම ආසියාවේ ශ්‍රේණිගත කිරීම වල 14 සිට පළවෙනි පස් වෙන හතරට යනවා. ඒකේ ලකුණු අප්ඩේට් කරාට පස්සේ පළවෙනි පස් වෙන හතරට යනවා. ඉතින් හොඳ අත්දැකීමක් සහ හොඳ තරඟ කිහිපයක් එම තරඟාවලියේ ක්‍රීඩා කරා.
Nevindu spoke about the importance of discipline in order to become a champion.
ක්‍රීඩකයෙක් වුණාම ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම දෙන්න ඕනේ විනය. පුහුණු වීම මතින් කෑම බීම නිදා ගැනීම සහ අනිත් ක්‍රීඩකයන්ට සාපේක්ෂව තමයි මේකට දෙන කැපීම වැඩි වෙන්න ඕනේ. මොකද ශූරයෙක් වෙනවා කියන එක ලේසි දෙයක් නෙමෙයි. එක්කෙනෙක්ට විතර ශූරයෙක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම අනිත් අයට සාපේක්ෂව දෙන කමිට්මන්ට් එක ඩිසිප්ලින් ඒ දේ වැඩියෙන් තියෙන්න ඕනේ.
Nevindu says his alma mater, DS Senanayake College, Colombo, has been a massive source of motivation for his career as a sportsman.
DS Senanayake විද්‍යාලයේ ස්කොෂ් වලින් ගත්තොත් number 1 රවින්දු අයියා, number 2 ශමිල් අයියා, ඊටත් කලින් හිටියා ඩිල්ෂාන් අයියා. ඉතින් ඔය හැම දැන් වර්තමානයේ අපේ පුහුණුකරු හකීම් අයියා ඒ හැමෝම ජාතික කණ්ඩායම නියෝජනය කරපු අන්තර්ජාතික ක්‍රීඩකයෝ. ඉතින් ඒ අය හැදෙන බලන් ඉඳලා අපිටත් ලොකු මොටිවේෂන් එකක් ආවා. ස්කූලින් තමයි ස්කොෂ් ආරම්භය ගත්තේ. ස්කොෂ් කෝට් එකේ තමයි ආරම්භය ගත්තේ. ඉතින් අද මේ වෙනකන් කරගෙන යනවා.
At the age of 18, Nevindu's squash career can only grow and develop better. The only request of squash players like Nevindu has is that more facilities be given to players so that they can perform in an international level and represent Sri Lanka. PD Shehan of the Sri Lanka Army won first place in the men's division of the 84th 2-mile sea swimming championship.
The tournament, organised by the Sri Lanka Aquatic Sports Union, was held in Mount Lavinia. Over 500 athletes participated in the tournament, which was held after 3 years. PD Shehan of the Sri Lanka Army won first place in the men's open category. He finished the race in 41 minutes and 33 seconds. Siobhan De Silva of St. Joseph's College, Maradana, who finished the race in 41 minutes and 54 seconds, won second place. I.N. Theekshana De Silva of Sri Devananda College, Ambalanguda, won third place and finished the race in 42 minutes and 35 seconds.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of Primetime News here on TV1. For the News First team, I've been Senitha Senanayake. Take care and stay safe.